Hello everyone, my name is Pawan and I welcome you all towards my channel. And today we have an amazing guest, and that is none other than Gautham Agarwal sir. As we promised, we have been reached now 5.7k subscribers, and as part of this beautiful journey, we are starting with something called a talk series with Pawan. So during this course period of time, we'll be indulging you with different kind of streams of understanding of different kind of course basis knowledge. It could be within the domain of commerce, psychology, law, different kind of professions. So we'll be calling out as a guest persons, different kind of people from different kind of domains to provide you and incubate you with different kind of knowledge within the career. So as part of it, we have an amazing speaker as well as guest for today who has been inspired many people over the course of time. And that is none other than Gautham Agarwal sir. So speaking about him, he's basically completed his BCom from Christ University. Along with that, he is a CA finalist and as well as a CS finalist, and he is also the founder at Synergy Education Classes. And thank you so much, sir, for inspiring many students. And I welcome you towards my community. And
Oh,
yes,
it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure to be a part of your growing channel. I saw your YouTube channel. You're doing wonderful work. So I've been really looking into it from the morning when you send me across. Your videos are amazing, amazing. Keep up the good work, please.
thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So, would you like to introduce yourself to the student community who's watching this? Anything did I miss out, and anything that you want to share before we start?
So I did my graduation from Christ University, as you mentioned. I did my graduation from BCom Finance and Accountancy, which is an integrated course with Chartered Accountancy. So I'm a CA finalist, CS finalist. I've never written a CA final exam. I don't know why. I lost my interest, I presume. I'm also a CFA level 3 candidate and an FRM level 2 candidate. Plus, I am an IFRS diploma holder basically. So that are my educational qualifications. And I've been into the education industry from quite a while now. It's been around 6, 7 years. And my journey of education actually started when I was in Christ. So the seeds of my teaching career actually began when I was in Christ University. Yeah, that's just a bit about me. Right now, currently I'm in Guwahati, Assam, basically where I'm running my own coaching institute, having students from all across India, definitely. Yeah.
Wonderful, sir. So, sir, there are many students who have been following up my channel who is basically in the verge of completing their 12th grade now. So, can you please tell us what are the different kind of professional courses available for the students who is going to complete their 12th grade as of now?
So, when you're asking me about the professional courses, there's a big myth associated with a lot of commerce students, especially in this part of the city where we reside in. So, what happens is when we talk about to these young students, so what happens is that a lot of students just like, okay, we have taken up commerce, so now our predominant options are either it's a chartered accountancy course or a company secretary course. Basically, it's a CA or a CS. But I believe with the way the world is shaping up and the way the global world has tied up nowadays, and the COVID has brought about the way we work in a different sphere altogether. Previously it was like I cannot work in a Bangalore MNC sitting in Guwahati or Assam, or from Kolkata I cannot work for a firm that is based on Singapore. But with COVID, all of this has become now very, very easy because of the facilities of work from home. Because people are, a lot of my friends from the chartered accountant background are working from here to the Bangalore firms basically. So what I want to highlight is that the options of professional courses are way too many when you have to look around beyond class 12. But the biggest thing of understanding here is that when you're studying in 11 and 12, you're studying the basics of accountancy, you're studying the basics of business studies, you're studying basics of maths or economics,
Yeah.
but you don't know the basics about law or the legal studies. You don't know the basics about company secretary. What does a company secretary do? So, what I believe the biggest challenge for a student standing after class 12 is to understand what each professional course domain is actually based about. So, what I usually do is when I give this advice, I say that we're going to classify it into different aspects. So, for example, if someone is keenly interested in accountancy knowledge, basically, then there are multiple courses. In India, you can definitely pursue chartered accountancy, which is the predominant and the gold standard course for accountancy in India, basically. That
Okay.
is chartered accountancy. But nowadays, people have opted out for CA also, and they also get in for ACCA, CPA, because they are might not be equally to the same weightage like a CA in India, but they have also the same recognition nowadays in India because of the global industries coming into picture. So, to the audience which I'm addressing to is, if you're keenly interested towards accountancy courses, then you should look towards CA, ACCA, or CPA, basically, Certified Public Accountant. So, US, UK, India. So, if someone wants to, the flexible working abroad based countries, or they really want to work in Singapore markets, because Singapore is one of the most developing economies, I feel, as terms of financial markets. So, if someone is really keen to work abroad, then they should definitely pursue ACCA, because we at Synergy C3 at our coaching institute, we have a tied up association with the ACCA bodies. So when we see their entry and exit route towards ACCA, it is predominantly lighter than a CA course, and it is less demanding academically than CA. I'm not saying that ACCA is easy by any stretch of imagination. In fact, no professional course is easier, but the entry to CA is easier, but the exit to CA is getting difficult. But in case of ACCA, the entry and exit is at the same level.
Okay.
And
So,
like,
sorry to cut this short. Can you just explain what is this ACCA in full form, as well as so that students who have not heard about it, they can get a little
so
more
yeah, you want me to explain in detail about the ACCA field, or you just want me to give a briefing about ACCA? So what would you like about
like all the
ACCA?
courses you have been mentioning, along with CA,
So what we can do is for
ACCA.
ACCA, it is when we talk about ACCA, we'll talk about first about the paper levels and everything. So when I'm
Okay.
talking about ACCA, it is Association of Chartered Certified Accountants. Association of Chartered Certified Accountants. Again, it's an accounting based course only, but there's typically around 14 papers. So what is, when someone tries to do an ACCA, I strongly recommend them that there are certain universities in India, like even Christ University, Symbiosis, they are tied up with the ACCA bodies.
Okay.
So what happens is you get a paper exemption. So out of the 13 or 14 papers that you have to write, 9 papers are exempt basically. So you end up writing only the 4 or 5 papers which you can complete in your third year of your undergraduation. So
Okay.
nothing better than that. And when we talk about CPA, it's again a US based course. So where you'll be learning about the US gap. So in India, in chartered accountancy, we learn about accounting standards and Ind AS, Ind accounting standards. But in CPA, we talk about US gaps, and ACC will be more about IFRS and US GAAP both. So all of these are accounting courses, but they're specifically designed to the country where you cater to. For example, CA is predominantly India, ACC is more about Middle East countries and UK countries, and US is all about the CPA courses. So these are the broader horizon of accounting courses. So when I'm addressing to this class 11 and 12 student, what I always advise is them that when you do accountancy, if it excites you, then think of any one of the courses, either CA, ACCA, CPA. You have to think about one of it. If
Okay.
someone is very keen to understand that, no, I am completely interested in staying in India, my job profile is in India, and I want to get a good job recognition in India, then a lot of people opt in for CA. But to give a good clarification here, even ACCA has a great job recognition in India nowadays. Like in Bangalore, if I talk about, there's so many companies that are hiring ACCA qualified. So there are so many of my Christ graduate friends or Christ graduate juniors which are qualified as ACCA, and they are well placed to do the jobs in here, because then they handle the UK based clients or the abroad based clients working here in India as well. Because all of this big fours or all of these MNCs also have the foreign based advisory companies situated in India also. So the first aspect, if someone is really keen and interested in doing accounting, their aspect of understanding should be towards CA, ACCA, or CPA. They should do a understanding of what the course demands, what are the papers. See, because the point is, CA will have a taxation paper, ACCA will also have a taxation paper, CPA will also have a taxation paper. All of this will also have an audit paper. But the problem is with class 12 student, they don't know what happens in audit. They don't even know what happens in taxation. That's why I'm using the word, if you're keen and interested in accounting, and the level of difficulty is almost same, but slightly easier for ACCA and CPA as compared to CA, definitely. So
Okay.
when you're keen in accounting, you should try to research about these courses and understand towards these courses into what college prospects and which college will assist you in these courses. I'm talking only if you're keenly interested in accounting, because
Okay.
these courses are accounting based courses.
Okay, sir. All right. So, can you also throw some light regarding the company secretary course? Who should
Yeah.
basically pursue it?
So I'll go
Who's
to the second part of the division, where a lot of people presumes that they don't like numbers a lot. I'm not into number crunching. I don't like too many numbers. but
Okay.
I'm great at reading. I
Okay.
like the legal framework reading. I love reading. There is a sense of ability to absorb of reading basically, and
Great.
the understanding of the legal knowledge. So a lot of people, what they actually, since you're from the law background, you know a lot about the same thing. But
Yes.
as a law, when you're studying about it, you're studying every kind of law, whether it's a criminal law, civil law, everything. But
Everything.
when someone does a company secretary, they study only about the company based laws basically, more about the legal framework that is associated with the working of manufacturing firms, companies. It is more about the corporate laws. But in
Okay.
case of when you're doing an LLB, you're studying about every kind of a law,
Correct.
corporate, criminal, everything. But in case of a company secretary, the law gets restricted towards the corporate law. So
True.
it is predominantly, it is filled with Companies Act 2013. So if
Okay.
you are doing company secretary, you'll be reading about Companies Act 2013 at the highest level in depth. And as a company secretary, your job is mainly about responsible for the incorporation of the company, getting the company started, making sure the board of directors meeting are happening, filing with the MCA, Ministry of Corporate Affairs. That's your predominant job when you do about CS, company secretary. But
Okay.
company secretary as a course is slightly theoretical in nature. So when I'm talking about theoretical, I'm not referring to the word that you need to learn. So a lot of people in India, when we say theoretical, they only associate it with one word. We need to learn. I'm never mentioning that. In
Okay.
fact, no law can be learned, and you can understand that better. That you cannot learn the volumes of law that you read across in India. You can
Yes.
only have a sense of understanding. So
Yeah.
if you have a keen interest towards handling corporate legal matters, then company secretary is the place to be, where you don't want to deal with numbers, but you want to deal with company incorporation, company filings, key managerial persons, KMPs, which we popularly refer to as, then it is company secretary. And
Yes.
before you ask me on next, I'm also divide the third part of my discussion to this is finance based courses. So what
Okay.
I see to this is a lot of 11, 12 students, they hear this word stock market and they get so fascinated by it. And thanks to our Netflix and Amazon Prime, there are a lot of web series that have recently come towards the stock market. So
Okay.
I see a lot of students coming in 11, 12. We want to do a course on stock market
Okay.
irrespective what understanding they have. So let me be very clear. One is an accounting course, one is a legal matter course. When you definitely go on to do a CS kind of a course or an LLB kind of a course, which you will be a better guide for an LLB than me because I've not been a part of that course definitely. And if someone wants to deal with the finance world, when I'm saying finance, it is just not stock market. For example, there are a lot of startups like you are in Bangalore, so that's the place of startups in India.
Correct.
So what happens is a lot of bigger companies wants to acquire the startups. For example, a lot of there's a popular show Shark Tank. So a lot of people go to Shark Tank, pitch in their ideas, and see that my company valuation is this much.
Hmm.
So they are private firms. So the private equity valuation is also a part of finance. Stock
Finance.
market is also a part of finance. So when I'm using the word finance, I don't mean stock market because finance in itself is a huge world. It is currency market, commodity market. There are people who do trading on only on currency. There are
Hmm.
people who do trading only on fixed income. When I talk about government securities, bond market, there is obviously the share market, stock market, because this is very popular. Then there is options, which is also called as depot trading more popularly, derivatives basically.
Hmm.
So there are a lot of areas on finance. So if anyone has a very keen interest in making their career towards finance as an analyst
Hmm.
about companies, they don't want to do the accounting and auditing of company. They don't want to be involved into the accounting work or the financial statement preparation work, but they want to do the analysis of financial statement.
Hmm.
Then we suggest them a finance course. But
Finance.
nowadays a lot of people have started taking finance courses is because finance courses helps you to achieve the higher level management. At the end of the day, the higher level managements are indirectly or directly dominated by the finance origins. So when I talk about finance, there are a lot of courses about finance. The gold standard course of finance is CFA. There
CF.
is CFA. There is no other course superior than CFA when it comes to the world of finance.
Okay.
It's
CFA
the
means like full form, sir?
chartered financial analyst.
Okay. Okay.
Chartered financial analyst.
Okay.
So predominantly there is no other course
Hmm.
which can be as knowledgeable, as in-depth designed than CFA. Brilliant design of course. Again, it's not an India based course, US based course, but in India people are hiring CFA qualified people. like massive. So my CV, when I was thinking in my COVID to stop teaching and going back to my corporates, so my degree qualification with CA and CFA was a
Hmm.
deadly combination. So if someone mixed accounting and a finance, CA plus CFA, you're the one of the most hotshot employee recruitment position in the markets basically. So a lot of people now started doing is they're mixed up with ACC and CFA also, because then they become eligible for Middle East countries and Singapore a lot. So the money that is there in Middle East countries and South and the Singapore markets are deviating a lot of young crowd to make it believe that yeah, we want to work there, because in Middle East countries the labor factor is very expensive
Correct.
in comparison to India, because I feel India the labor is cheaper. I should not refer CFA qualified as labor, so I'll use
Yeah.
the word workforce. So in
All
India the workforce is slightly cheaper. So the initial packages will be lower, but a lot of people have mixed up their finance with accountancy. So when I talk about finance, it is CFA, FRM, which is financial risk management. So FRM opens up the sector of insurance companies, banking companies, lot of that. So CFA, FRM, a lot of people also do nowadays CIPM, Chartered Institute of Portfolio Management. So there are a lot of finance-based courses also.
Mm.
So when a 12 student gives their board, my first question to them is, what excites you? Is it accounting? Is it finance? Is it more like maths? So if anyone loves maths like mad, and they love numbers like statistics and maths, then they should go towards actuarial science. Brilliant career, brilliant career. But you need to love maths. You
Okay.
need to love maths to the core, because
Okay.
actuarial science is very difficult. In fact, out of all the courses that I've mentioned, it is one of the most difficult course and one of the most rewarding course in terms of money as well. So definitely when I class 12 students, in fact, I get this query, okay? So a lot of people come and ask me, you suggest me something which is the highest job package. So I end
Okay.
up answering to me, do you love maths? He's like, yeah, I love maths. Then I said, join actuarial. You have tremendous amount of wealth into that. But it's also a misconception. You will not get your starting package as 2 CR, 3 CR. No one in India, unless and until you have a brilliant resume, that you're going to get a 3 crore, 4 crore package. That's like one out of thousand, I believe.
Correct.
So the initial package is still very good, and the level up ladder in case of actuarial science is really good. So I
Yeah.
believe these are the few professional courses which can be definitely availed. And then also you have your CMA, cost and management accounting.
1 second, sorry to switch in. So about the actuarial science when you meant, because I like on my study, actuarial science is basically a domain. For example, insurance law I've learned. Okay, so they are the one who basically assess the element
Risk
of finding.
associated.
Yes, sir.
They
Yeah,
assess the risk associated with the insurance, correct?
correct. That's the same profession within the actuarial
Correct.
science.
Yeah.
Or is it still expanded?
Sorry.
Or is it still expanded? Actuarial science has been in different domains.
Yeah, it's in different domain. It's in insurance, it's in banking, hugely in banking, because of the risk factor associated with the bank loans turning out to be NPA. So NPA is non-performing asset.
Yes,
So because I'm addressing to the 11, 12 crowd, so what happens is when bank is giving loan, they're taking something as collateral, as an asset. So what amount of security should be mortgaged, and what percentage of risk are we looking into that is also a domain of it. And the credit rating factors in the banking is also a lot of handles by actuarial. So the domain of actuarial is again vast spread. But when I'm talking to class 12, I don't want to get into so much nitty gritties of the point, is because they don't understand the nitty gritties. So what I always tell them, just think on top.
creamy
Because
layer.
at the end, once you go into it, you have to study it, whatever it is.
Correct, sir.
But you
Yes,
need to get a feel of what is happening.
true,
So when
true.
I hear a lot of podcasts, and also they
Mm.
talk so much about CA, but I always tell about you what is going to happen when you hear so much about CA, because you haven't studied tax, you haven't studied audit. And I always say one line: till the time you haven't done something, however much you listen to it, till the time you don't experience it, it doesn't feel good. So,
Wow.
for example, I
Mm.
haven't studied law, so I will never understand what happens in an LLB. So if someone comes and asks to me, how's LLB as a course? So I don't want to be that YouTuber, for example, which just gives an advice and open-ended, which doesn't know much about LLB. So
Correct.
it's very important. Like you're calling me here, you could have done yourself also, but you understand that your domain is specialized to certain things, and that's
Exactly.
why I appreciate those channels which
Mm.
speak so much relevant content. So when I was reading a lot of your comments and everything, they were talking about your views. So I
Mm.
see you're not doing something, a lot of things now. I want to tell you a surprise. So when you not do so much, the views get lesser. So I believe the quality content views comes later, but it do comes.
Your
Yeah,
comes. Exactly.
definitely.
Thank you, sir. That's actually a great insight. Each point which you said was like really connecting. Even in my life, I'm able to recollect it at many points of time. That was a great valuable advice. Start by doing it rather than just thinking about it. It's very important that we implement it rather than just planning for the same. So, sir, my next doubt is about, there are many students who are presently in the 12th grade, okay, who are in the 12th grade, who are from art stream. And in case they want to switch now into the commerce stream, is math really a compulsory requirement that during the 12th grade they are supposed to have math? Or even if for example, even non-math students, when they enter into the commerce domain, how should they sustain for the initial couple of
So
months?
I'll put it very straight, one single line answer.
Okay.
All of the courses which I have mentioned does not require maths except actuarial science. You need to be real good at maths for actuarial science. Any other courses, if you're till your class 10 maths is decent enough, you'll be able to go through your professional courses. If you take my case, till my class 10, my maths was superb. Just to give numbers, because we Indians love numbers. If there are numbers now, we love it. So in class
Yes.
10 maths, I scored 100 or 100. Perfect, notch. But in my class 12 maths, okay, as I'm revealing on YouTube, I scored a 59 in my board exam out of 100. I it like the calculus was not into my head only at all. I was not able to understand why should I study sine theta by cos theta is equal to tan theta. Like my wife teaches maths, and when we discuss with her, she always, why do you do so much about maths? I'm like, the content about maths is so much science oriented in 11 12 that I am not able to absorb. Why do I need to learn so much? I'm not gonna do an architecture course. If you're doing an architecture course, then you need that level of maths. So
Correct.
now in 11 12 in commerce, in CBSE, they've also introduced applied maths. So they're moving towards the domain which is helpful. So what I advise to all my commerce student is you should always take applied maths as your optional subject. CBSE allows you an optional subject. So at least you will learn the basics of maths, which you will need in all of these professional courses. Even if you don't score a 97, 98, it's okay. It's your optional subject. Score a decent marks, that's more than enough. So that's what I always advise. So even someone is switching from humanities to commerce, the biggest challenge is to learn accountancy. The biggest challenge is not maths. So anyone who's planning to switch accountancy, the first thing immediately is don't join a professional course. First, join a basics course to understand in-depth accounting, so that once you do any other professional course, it will become easier always. So we always suggest a basic roadmap course when you're converting from science to commerce. So like we even have a course where we offer the conversion from science to commerce, where in 2 3 months we teach all the basics of accountancy if someone is switching from a science to commerce or from humanities to commerce, because we get that transition a lot nowadays.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So my next question is about, sir. So this is my favorite question. Okay. So what do you think is the impact of artificial intelligence in the entire commerce industry? Because I'm a person who constantly read about AI. I love using AI. So what do you think in the future is going to be in the domain of
So
commerce industry with the help
like
of
I'm very young, and but me answering to this will be very weird. I'm
AI?
not a very big fan of AI, to be very honest.
All right.
Like I see, like so how our social media is handled now, I get so surprised. Like the moment the AI got hyped, there were courses launched on AI. So there were
Yes.
so many Instagram influencers that were selling courses on AI, will make you champions on AI.
Mm,
So the problem with this thing is that what happens is there are a lot of 11, 12 kids who
mm.
keep going through the Instagram. They see an ad, so after 12 they will spend their filthy amount of money on learning AI, where I don't know what do they learn.
Okay.
So my understanding is for class 12 students is, first of all, if AI is something a great powerful tool, and I believe it's the future.
Mm,
But in India, we are
mm,
still at a very early stages of AI, where the level of development will be happening at a very later stage. Just to give you an instance,
mm,
like I'm right now at the age of 28, 29, and I still don't use much AI. On a contrary, let us understand a person who's sitting at the top management of an organization
mm,
at the age of 45, 50. Because in India, the top management ages are something like that only, 45 to 50.
mm.
So your inquisition towards AI will not be the same of the person towards 45 to 50 who's running the organization, basically.
Correct. Yes, true.
So the understanding of AI, what I believe is, it will come towards the next generation of workforce.
Okay.
So all those who are in 11, 12, they are the next generation of workforce, basically, including us. But I'm already into the workforce, basically. But as we go ahead, like another 6 years, 7 years, the AI plays such a big role. But whenever there's a technology, there's always a factor of misusing the technology also.
Correct.
But
True.
again, the biggest thing is I read some articles, especially on social media. Why I'm using the word social media is because it's so much driven about social media world. So one of my students came and asked, I read an article, since AI is coming into picture, I believe a lot of professional courses will become obsolete. And he's using words so fabulously obsolete. I'm like, I'm a teacher. How
Yes.
many AI come into the world? I don't think a teacher can ever be substituted. Or
Correct.
for that matter, a lawyer can ever be substituted.
Yes.
Because at the end, AI can give you answers. It can never give you interpretations.
True.
So, what my advice to 11, 12 students is you should not be afraid of AI. You should love AI. Although I don't use much AI, but my prospect towards AI is that your understanding towards studies now should not be learning. Because, for example, a client asks you a particular thing.
Hmm.
After 10 years, the client might not ask you that because he can himself do an AI. So,
Correct.
half of his problem can be solved through AI. But
Yes.
what cannot be solved is the interpretation. For example, I want to know a very basic legal matter.
Hmm.
I can do an AI, I'll get an answer, proper answer with everything. Google was also doing that work. AI does an advanced level work for me.
Well, correct.
But can it give me an interpretation of it? I doubt. That
Hmm.
is why when you're doing a law,
Hmm.
your understanding of the law is much more important than learning the act, because learning the act is not a solution anyway. So what I always advise my student is, when you're studying a particular, especially your 11, 12, where you build your basics,
Hmm.
don't try to learn, just try to understand the conceptualization. I understand we love marks are important,
Hmm.
but with AI and the other technologies coming into picture, I always understand that your understanding, your interpretation can never change.
Which
Your
correct.
AI can explain you a lot of things, but
Hmm.
at the end, the human understanding of things can never be out. We have been into the robotics world from ages, but in
True.
India, I don't think the robotics have actually replaced human beings till now.
Yes. True.
So I again say AI is the power driven force which will simplify a lot of things. But at the end, using AI in a skilled manner is what the students need to learn at the end of the day. It
True.
should not be like, you don't need to use Excel anymore, I'm going to teach you AI. It is not that.
Yeah.
Your existing tools has to merge with the AI.
Oh, yes.
So I always believe using AI with the existing tool who learns that art will be having a better stand in the market, because your existing tools will never be out so early into the market. Similarly, AI, just for an example, a lot of teachers in the Indian market, since I'm from that community, used to teach in a blackboard and a normal classroom setup. Then the COVID happened and everyone switched us online. Today
Yes.
I am able to teach online. It's because of COVID. It is not because of it. So I
Correct.
believe in a country like India, till the time another kind of a huge event occurs, the AI shift will not happen so instantly.
Correct, sir.
So I believe AI will simplify our job, but to a certain extent. The later stages, the analysis, interpretation will always be human beings. And that's why I always advise do your professional courses, because the basic courses will be
Hmm.
taken care by AI. AI
Yeah.
will be so advanced that for basic accounting, you will not hire a person which we hire right now. So you'll be hire an analytical kind of a person, not an accounting kind of a person. So
Hmm.
obviously certain jobs will become obsolete, but a
Hmm.
professional degree course will never become an obsolete, because the knowledge which it has is an analytical knowledge. That's why my advice to all 11, 12 students is always think about a professional course, because whatever happens in your life, your professional degree is gonna stay always with you. Anything changes, but your degree can never go waste, and the knowledge it gathers through it, definitely.
Yeah, that's nice. So, like, what do you think are the challenges and misconceptions, misconceptions regarding the commerce field? For example, you could see many kind of students coming with wrong kind of misconceptions, over the period of time, you have seen some kind of students regarding this booming up thoughts or something. So how do you, what have you basically observed and how do you like to tackle such kind of issues or what
So
is your interpretation
it's a
regarding?
very weird state to be in.
Yes.
What I personally felt
Mm.
over the last 6 years being to the education industries, I'm not referring to every one of them, but I'm
Mm.
referring to a certain section of people. So please don't take me wrong when someone use this.
Yes.
A lot of people, I'm talking about the state where I live in. So the
Mm.
lot of people who loves us to take science
Mm.
because they believe engineering or the doctor are the most secure job basically. But
Yes.
I that is the first
Lawyer.
thing.
Even lawyer.
Yeah. So I think engineering, doctor, and lawyer, I should add up with that.
Yes.
So when people go for the lawyer thing, they add up to the humanities community.
Yes,
A
sir.
lot of people now still a lot of education being prevailed and so much talk about education.
Mm.
So I still believe there's still a section of people which feels science is the most superior out of everything, and humanities is somewhere here, and
Mm.
commerce is somewhere in between. So
Yes.
when I hear a lot of people after class 10, they tell me that, Science is not my cup of tea because I cannot study so much. Humanities, it's so theoretical, I find it very boring. And I'm from a business family, so I have a middle route to go, commerce. So the biggest misconception about commerce is like a middle choice for everyone when they don't like the first and the third choice,
Yeah.
which I feel that. So I'm talking only a certain section of people when I talk about misconception, because misconception is always about a certain section of people. And I
Okay.
also hear about the fact that a lot of people wants to do business, so they
Hmm.
all end up just taking commerce.
Commerce.
It is not that your academics is always based about your interest, because it is not that a lot of engineers don't go on to become successful businessmen. It is never like that. Or it is not like that only the commerce graduate become a great successful businessman. So there are the biggest misconception which I feel is I want to do business, that's why I'm taking commerce. So I don't think that should be an answer. I really want to study about the finance world, accountancy world, then it should be commerce. Then that's my perception and take.
Okay. So for does board exam marks really matters in terms of opting for a professional course, like for entering into a particular professional course? Is that a very checklist by the universities, like in your observation?
So I'm gonna answer two things straight away out of this now. So the first thing is, are 12 marks important? I believe, yeah, slightly. Because, yeah, it is. Because at the end of the day, how much ever we generalize to the fact that marks are not important, this is not, then why do school take so many pre-boards? Why do school take so many exams? If the same school, on the first day of the prospectus print, marks are not important, you want to groom your child. They are the same schools that will hold their PTM, and if the child does not score marks, the child should not go back home that day. I feel sad by that part.
Yeah.
So I'm talking from a society social pressure. But now when I talk about marks, so any college nowadays, a good standard college, does not take admission on the basis of the 12 marks. So I say your marks needs to be good, but it does not have to be 99. Because I see so many cases, people scored a 96, they're depressed about it. I'm like, man, it is 96. Where you want to be?
Correct.
Previously, what it used to be happening like the top DU colleges, if you score a 97, there was still not a guarantee to get a college. Like in
Oh,
my board exam, I scored a 95.25. I felt really good about it. But I was not sure whether I'll get a college or not. So
yes.
the problem previously was without marks you cannot get colleges, but
Okay.
now it is no more. You have CUT entrance. Christ conducts completely on the basis of interview and entrance, which you know very well about it.
Yes.
NMIMS again Mumbai takes it on the basis of NPAT. Symbiosis has their own set of SAT exams.
Yeah.
DU is completely CUT. Only one college presently, which I know much about it, it's only Xavier's Kolkata, which takes on the basis of marks. Every other college is either based on entrance, interview, or CUET. So your marks don't have to be 97, 98. It has to be decent. And by
Decent mark.
decent, I mean it's a 90 to 93. It's great because that marks will be in your CV also, right, at the end of it. So it don't have to be extremely poor. And at the end of the day, when you write any of the entrance, when you write a CUET or any college entrance, the questions are your 11, 12. To study your 11, 12, not to score a 98, 99. If it comes, it's great. I'm happy about it, but don't overburden yourself with getting a 98, 99, that you get so much pressurizing of getting marks. So my advice to all the young students out there is, even if you score a 70, 80, 90, it's marks, man. It does not define your career. And
Career. Yes.
after the boards result, we hear so many cases, students committing suicide, students are in depression. So let me be very clear, your marks does not define your college, because nowadays college selects you on your basis of your personality, your concept understanding, because none of the interviewers will ask you, how many sums have you solved. What they want to test is your concept. So if you are learning your fundamental courses really well in
Hmm.
11, 12, you will be able to crack any interview, any entrance course. Like I have so many of my students from Guwahati studying in Christ. I think I have approximately 50 students from my own institute studying in Christ.
Wow.
And I don't know how much did they score in their board exams. So at the end of the day, your board score are important. They should be decent. So by decent, whatever is your capability, score beyond that. That is very
Yes.
important. If you can score a 80, try to push for an 85. If you scored an 85 rest of your life, try to get a 90. No, it's good enough. You don't need to score a 98. So what happens is a lot of students in the hope of getting a 98, they don't get up ending, don't sorry, they don't get up ending anywhere else also.
Correct.
So my request is marks are important, but a decent marks. You don't have to get a 98, 99. Sorry, you don't really need it. I'm not discouraging someone to get it. PS, a lot of students will show their video to the parents like, see, he's telling you marks are not important. It's not that. Getting decent marks is important. You don't have to always get a 98, 99. And focus on your concepts. Your concepts are the key because all of the exam, whether it's CUET, whether it's Christ entrance, all of these are MCQ. So MCQ are always concepts. That's the best thing that has happened to India of late. MCQ exams because I am talking about CFA, which is a finance gold course. They are completely MCQ based. Now, what is the benefit of MCQ? You're not learning, you're understanding. You have to retain, you don't have to store brains. Like a student, I was doing CA. I got so bogged down by the course because there's so much learning. And when I entered into CFA, my learning quantity was reduced drastically because I had to just understand things. So I was very happy about it. I have to take answers. Nah, so I have to retain things. I don't
Correct.
have to mug up formulas. I have to understand formulas. So it made me love the course. So
Oh.
that's why MCQs are the way forward. I personally believe in.
Okay, sir. So, sir, next I have two parallel questions. So, do you have any tips for students who've been preparing for entrance exam, for all the entrance exam as of now for Christ, Symbiosis, so and so particular colleges within the commerce domain? And second important question, which most of them asked, any tips for board exam students? All those the students who've been preparing for board exam, especially for that 12th grade.
Okay, so this is my approach.
Ah,
So I always say that it's a 1 year course. When you study your class 12, it's completely 1 year basically.
okay.
So a lot of people they try to rush their syllabus a lot. Like I want to complete my syllabus. I want to do 7, 10 revisions. I one thing I'm a big cricket fan also.
Okay.
So I look at Mahendra Singh Dhoni as one of my great cricket fans. So what he always used to play also, he also used to feel key, have confidence on yourself, take your game deep.
Hmm.
Even in the last ball, last over, you need a 15 runs, you'll be able to score it.
Hmm.
So the board exams are designed so beautifully. The exams have gap of 10 days, 7 days. So you don't need to so much pressurize. You need to plan it well, study consistently. I am telling this on record. If you study, if you have good, decent help support, if you're taking tuitions or decent help support, or your school teachers are well enough, and you study 2 hours every day or even 1.5 hour every day, I can vouch that you'll score a great 90% above in class 12 boards. You don't need to, I don't even understand the concept of studying 16 hours a day. You need it towards the end. I understand towards the end there's a pressure of revising, but then
Ah,
you're not learning, you're revising.
okay.
So there's a difference between learning and revising. You cannot learn 16 hours. You can revise for 10 hours, 8 hours, that's okay. So
Okay.
it's important to build a break in yourself and don't study only one subject. Try to balance your entire subjects because board exam is not about one subject. So
Okay.
people either overdo maths or overdo accountancy. Every subject is equally important. So yeah, just maintain your consistency and keep your calm. That is
Okay.
very important. Just relax yourself. Yeah. Don't let other get affect you. My syllabus is completed. I'm writing sample papers. It's okay, man. I have my own set of practice. Just to give an instance, I don't make my students practice sample papers. Never ever.
Okay.
Because what happens is when we give sample papers, you're going to give them marks. So, for example, a student scores out of 80, 60 out of 80. And the
Mhm.
board exam is 1 month after that. The
Ah,
student is going to switch on a panic mode. What is going to happen to me? I say, don't write the sample paper. We're going to directly write the board's paper. Whatever happens. And surprisingly, my results have been good from the time I stopped doing this. Last year,
okay.
I had around 12 students scoring 100 in accountancy, and none of them wrote a sample paper because I believe don't do it only. What happens is when you score less in a sample paper, you're demotivated. So
Motivated.
just motivate yourself, you're gonna perform well. It's a CBSE paper, it's gonna be an easy paper only, average paper. It's not something out of the bound. Just practice and just enjoy your studies. It's a process of your life at the end of the day. And remember to take all the concepts because
Okay.
after 12 you have to write entrances. So all
Correct.
the entrance will be concept based. So be
Correct.
smart in your head that you know all the concept. So if you cannot learn certain thing, it's okay. Write it in your own words. Boards will give you marks.
So thank you so much. That's literally amazing. I'm really grateful. I'm like a junior, and you're my super 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 senior from my college. And so I just want to know. This is excited for me to know that. So why did you opt for teaching profession? Like what did that sudden enlightenment come to you? What was the reason behind it?
Okay, so a lot of people till date even tell me that
Ah,
I don't think I'm a teacher actually.
okay.
So I don't treat myself as a teacher, first of all. Let me be very, very honest. So
Okay.
like a lot of students are still today, they can call me at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. I go out with them, I chill with them. This is something which Bangalore has taught me. So there is a like you're junior to me and I'm senior to you. There's no differentiating between a junior and a senior in a Christ college. It's the same. Everyone is at the same level. Everyone is relaxed, calm. So when I entered not as a teacher. Until date, I'm not a teacher, I believe.
Mm.
I am just a resource person which is helping students to secure marks
Uh,
out of the most unconventional methods. My methods of teaching are something very, very weird. They are not textbook teachings. I honestly believe. If a student asks me, I want a perfect ideal teacher who
mm.
completes the syllabus in November, do a thorough revision in Jan and Feb. I am not that. I
Okay.
am like a student. When I teach, I always think I'm a student. So when I joined the teaching community, and why I wanted to join, if I say you that,
Mm.
because I felt that
Mm.
there is a need of certain kind of people who are not teachers, who are students actually. So when
Yes.
I enter inside that room, I don't think like a teacher. I think like a student. So
Wow.
if I do a sum, I never do one sum of that variety. I do 10 sum of that variety because I understand there are certain variety of students
Mm.
which will never be perfect with one example. They need 10 example to understand the concept.
Correct.
So when I was in 12, my teacher used to solve one question and I was done. So if
Yeah.
I was smart enough, I'll grab it. But all students are not smart enough to grasp it in one example.
True,
So
sir.
I believe my joining of teaching was that I want to be a student amongst all my students. So
Ah.
across so many students I've taught, like all my students are like my family, So I've taught across like around 3,000, 4,000 students across in this 4, 5 years of my journey. And every one of them is still connected to me somewhere or the other. So yeah, it's a wonderful thing to be connected like that. So, but you cannot keep talking or texting so much.
Mm.
So a lot of my students are still not available to me every day now. But
Mm.
in their heart, they know that if they have to reach out to me, I'll be available to meet them definitely.
Good
So yeah.
sir. Wow. That actually shows your complete pure heart. You're doing it out of love. It's very less people actually, to be honest, who does something out of love. I think one among them is you, sir. I'm super proud of you.
Thank
And
you.
you have any final remarks for the audience over here? And can you also tell about, for example, if you want to join for your classes, what are there any particular like few lights and lights you just want to
Yeah.
throw it over here?
So, first of all, remarks to all the young crowd out there is, see, you're standing at the most important aspect of your career, basically, because what you decide from here on might stay with you for till the time of your death, if I precisely say. For example, if you have chosen to be a lawyer, you gonna be that till the time you don't take your last breath. You will be known as a lawyer at the end of it. So when
Correct.
you take a decision of class 11 and 12, I always say consult those people who are doing that particular course. For example, if someone wants to do law, they should reach out to you because you're doing that thing. If someone wants to do a psychology course or they want to be a psychiatrist, they should consult someone who is doing that. If someone wants to be a chartered accountancy, they should talk to someone who is doing that. They should not take a general advice all in one at one place. That does not happen when you're deciding careers, basically. And that's why, if I give a very, very lame example, there are a lot of restaurants that are getting successful is who are catering to specific cuisines, basically. Because
Okay.
they know this is their taste, but they cater to that.
Mm.
So it's very important when it comes to the career aspect that you don't go into a place where there is all in one buffet kind of a thing. They're advising you on everything. That cannot happen. So when I'm giving you this podcast, also I'm just giving an overview. I've not
Correct.
talked in detail about CACS, ACCA because it's a very, very in-depth understanding of everything. That
Correct,
every
sir.
student should in-depth get in with one mentor
Mm.
and try to talk about it. Ki
Mm.
what the course is all about, what are the subjects, how much time is it take to complete, and then they should go towards it. But first, they should identify whether it's accountancy, legal work, finance work, or do they want to really switch from commerce. That is very important. So that's my advice, and a very all the best, brightening career to everyone who views this. Definitely, that's my always my faith and belief that we get great, great entrepreneurs watching it, and wishing all the best to the channels, to your channel basically, and hope that it grows tremendously. And when I see this view, like I will feel really proud of doing this session. And last thing, when I talk about my own institute, so we are based from Guwahati, Assam, basically. We've been into this industry from last 4, 5 years. Last 3 years, we have been into the online setup as well.
Mm.
So we have a tie-up with one of the institutes in Coimbatore as well. So we have a lot of South-based students into our thing, which is learning online from 11 and 12, as well as students from Pune, the students from Mumbai, the students from Delhi. So it's at the end of it. But at the end, whatever you feel comfortable as a mentor, you should choose them from. Because I believe every mentor teaching out there will be well qualified to teach. At the end, the students need to have a sense of understanding and a connect with the mentor. So
Okay.
only one advice, I would not like to promote my institute directly or indirectly, which I don't like to do it on social media, honestly speaking. So one advice is you should always choose your mentors very wisely in 11 12, because you're trying to build your career out there. So always understand, can you connect with your mentor or not? If you can connect, it shall be great, because the journey becomes easier automatically.
Okay. Sure, sir. Thank you so much. We are truly grateful. And for all the students who've been watching, we'll be putting out all the social media links of sir's classes in below, as well as how we can reach out to him. I'm really grateful. Thank you so much, sir. So to be honest, being an interview consultant, I've trained more than 1,000 plus students. And one of the beauties about when I talk to a person, I get to read their mind very quickly. Now, speaking about your mind, you are actually a very creative person, and you are a very passionate person. Anything you do, you love doing it. You give your best. And I think as soon as I was just talking to Yusuf also, I just understood that how much passionate you are within the student community group. That itself has kept a very good brand across you. And thank you so much for creating a very good impact in many students' life. Truly, see, everyone can become a teacher over the period of time. But there are some teachers we still remember from our childhood days. Why? Because they have created a very big impact in our life. Because of that one particular message is so and so reason why we are here. And I think you are also coming up to one such particular category. You're doing a great job. And I pray to the universal energy that, you should keep on going like this. May you get more kind of opportunities to inspire many people. And you're an amazing soul. So thank you so much, sir. Love you
Thank you.
once
Thank you for the opportunity for letting me talk across to the students. I love any platform where I can talk to students. This is one thing which I love to do it for the rest of my life. I don't know whether I'll be a teacher for the rest of my life or not, but I would definitely love to talk, because like if any channel or anything asks me that you want to collaborate and talk about it, I'm like always yes. Like you asked me yesterday and I was like, yeah. If it's talking
Thank
about
you so much.
students, if it's about talking about students, it's always a yes. It's never a second time, right? Because at the end, our job is to help the students. Earning is one thing of your life, but changing lives is more important than earning, which I strongly believe. See, we are here to earn our bread and butter. I'm not denying that, but at the end of the day, we have a moral, ethical responsibility that at the best to the core of our heart, we should not spoil anyone's career. So we try to do that at Synergy C3. That's our best vision that we have at our heart, at our institute. That's it. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Gautam, sir, I'm
Thank you.
really grateful. As soon as I said yesterday, you're like, yes, I'm coming up. That shows your alertness. Really
Yeah.
grateful once again, and wish you wonderful health, as well as, let your family be blessed with God's energy. And thank you so much, sir. Wish you
Thank
all
you.
the best. And so for all those of you who have been watching this video still now, please do drop out your comments below. And if you have any doubts to sir, we'll also be redirecting that particular all those Q&As to sirs too. And please do like, share, and subscribe, and do let us know your views on what should be the upcoming episodes regarding any particular topics. We would be even happy enough to bring back Sir again. He's just one among the many guests, but he's constantly going to be repeated in this particular platform. And thank you so much, sir. You're always being connected to this platform. This is just first
Thank you.
episode, but you're going to get connected again and again for this platform.
I would love to be connected always, and I would love to see this channel growing, and I would love to be a part of the journey when it is growing, definitely.
Sure, sir. Sure. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wish you all the best. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.